Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
Support for this podcast comes from UTSA. UTSA's graduate school has a top-tier program for your field of study and offers outstanding opportunities for hands-on research and scholarly publishing. The academic community of UTSA features a world-class faculty, a professional development center, and mentoring programs to contribute to your future success. UTSA, the University of Texas at San Antonio. Visit utsa.edu/graduate to learn more or apply.
TheWonderMill.com, the best grain mills on the market, with the ability to mill several items that many grain mills will not. There are 2 grain mills to choose from. The Wonder Mill Electric. It's fast and gives you a vast variety of items it can grind. The Wonder Junior Hand Grain Mill can grind a wide variety of things that even some of the most expensive hand grain mills cannot, including oily grains, nuts, and seeds. Learn more about the most resourceful tool that you may ever own. See all the exciting things that Wonder Mill can do for you and what you eat at thewondermill.com.
You've just joined the Prepper Broadcasting Network, where we promote self-reliance and independence. The views and opinions expressed are strictly those of the host or their guests. Visit us in the interactive chat room at prepperbroadcasting.com.
Academy. I'm Forrest. We have Kyle. It's live on Friday night. We're coming to you from the headquarters in Charlotte, North Carolina.
No riots this week?
What?
No riots this week?
Well, there was some protest.
No riots. So.
No riots.
I was a little disappointed.
Dude.
Well, I heard that tornado was going to hit. I was like, whew. No.
That's just wrong. Hey, guys, we're live every Friday night on Prepper Broadcasting Network. PrepperBroadcasting.com. You can listen to us every Friday night live. We have an interactive chat room. If you're on Blog Talk Radio, jump over to PrepperBroadcasting.com and join in the chat room tonight with us. Tonight we got a good friend coming on, special guest, and he's going to tell us all kinds of financial things that will help us just get rich. Okay.
I don't know about rich.
Okay, rich. He's going to tell us some really neat things that you've never probably even knew before. So how was your week, Kyle?
Oh, not too bad. Pretty uneventful. I mean,
are you going to start a new job? We don't have to tell what kind of job.
Yeah. I mean, it's a temporary thing.
But people die every day, and they need your services.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Serious business out there. I mean, I haven't even told you, because if I tell you, I'd have to kill you.
Yes, and I do not want to die this week. I start a new job next week. We both start a new job next week.
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
Well, we'll still be here on Friday.
Yeah, I'm going to sell the plot. You're going to dig it.
Yeah, there we go. That works. Sounds good.
For a pet cemetery.
Yeah. Wait.
No.
Is that kind of how we
No.
code words?
No, it's no code word.
Like, is it like Pizzagate?
Oh my gosh. I can't believe you're going to still stick with that. But anyway, listen, we are giving away a few items, and I think the next podcast or show, we're going to be announcing the winners to enter in, please go to preppingacademy.com, preppingacademy.com. And there's a big, go down on the homepage to the bottom, and it says enter to win. And also we added a new feature on our website where you can actually give us comments and feedback, which I'm not sure I want to read that. Yeah, we'll have that, our assistant monitor that before we get it.
Maybe we should do separate columns. Maybe we should do feedback for Forrest and feedback for Kyle. Let's not throw the,
all my feedback's going to be from you.
Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater.
So, again, every Friday night, and we know you're probably listening on the podcast, but Friday night we're live in the chat room. Tonight, special guests. Well, let's get right into your conspiracy theory of the week.
You're already giving me crap about it this week.
This is Kyle's conspiracy theory of the week. So he I guess you wrote this or said you were going to do this last Saturday.
Yeah, I wrote it last Saturday.
And since then, there's been some big news saying...
There hasn't been any big news. All right.
It was on CNN saying this is false, it's false.
CNN, calling news false.
Well, it was in Washington Post as well.
It was on BBC. Here's the thing.
Okay, tell us. Tell us what it is.
Well, it's Pizzagate. And if you're not familiar with Pizzagate, supposedly there's some investigators, journalists who have found, and what they say is a code that they've cracked in the released WikiLeaks documents. And I mean, I looked at today, there was like 4,000 plus documents where there were emails and whatnot, back and forth banter. Some of it just looks like nonsense, like they got spam in their box or something like that. And, pizza half off, Papa John's, whatever. But then there's some language in there that talks about pizza and pasta, and the vernacular is very different than what you and I would be like. I'd be like, hey, do you want to go grab a slice of pizza? You'd be like, yeah, sure, that sounds good. Now, if I looked at you and be like, hey, do you want to go do a pizza and then maybe do some pasta later? And, hey, do you remember that pasta we did 3 months ago? Yeah, that pasta's still good. Like, wow, wait, how pasta is 3 months old still be good?
Okay.
There's things in there that don't, the way that it's
They don't add up?
They don't add up.
So you're saying they're code words?
They are saying that they are code words, and there's been actually reports for a good while about, obviously corruption in D.C. I was talking to you a minute ago about Bohemian Grove, something else that you're not familiar with. But these D.C. elites, politicians, movie stars, all these people get together for Bohemian Grove as well. And there's been rumors of everything from human trafficking or, organ selling, human sacrifices, orgies, all sorts of like really disgusting.
Wait, you can't say that word.
What? Which one?
Orgies.
I just baited you in. But there's a lot of things that go on that are out of the mainstream media's eyes, and then whenever they get brought up, mainstream media doesn't really touch them, and part of that reason being is because they're in those people's pockets. And like right now, we were talking earlier when I came over here, you were saying that mainstream media has already debunked it. Well, they didn't really debunk anything. Basically, they just went, nuh-uh, and that's not how you debunk something. If you want to debunk it, you need to come out and disclose certain things and actually tell us what you were discussing in these emails.
Right. I did see some of the emails and saw a few of the codes that were being put in there, and it all referred to that one pizza joint in Washington, D.C., I think it was. Yeah,
and there's some very interesting things.
There's some very interesting language that I would never type to a friend about
pizza or
going
pasta.
to get pizza or pasta. That is interesting. But the sex island, all that kind of stuff kind of ties into that?
It does. All the associations they tie in, including Mr. Pizza Man himself who runs the place. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for them to be talking in the way they are unless there's something more going on. And, mainstream media can say whatever the heck they want, but quite frankly, after this election, we know that they've lost credibility. And now, even within the past 2 weeks, they're coming out and saying, oh, hey, you listen to Drudge Report, or you read Drudge Report, you read Zero Hedge, or Paul Craig Roberts, etc. Oh, well, guess what? They're all Russian spies. Don't listen to them. I mean, it's the biggest load of crap I've ever heard.
I mean, I give you that. I mean, of course, mainstream media is going to debunk it. But it was interesting. I saw some of the quotes, some of the emails. And the thing is, I forgot how many emails were released. But I'm not sure if someone's had time to go through all the emails yet.
No.
Wasn't there 100? I mean, I forgot how many.
There's hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands of emails. And I bet the only way they're going through it is doing like word searches. There's just no way.
That's what I was doing earlier. I've just typed in pizza, pasta, stuff like that, and sat there and read through their emails. It's kind of nice being able to do that. They should actually have that where we can do that all the time.
I can order Papa John's. We had pizza tonight, Papa Murphy's.
I'm not sure about Papa Murphy's. I don't know what that is.
They create it. You bring it home and bake it. You take and bake.
Take and bake.
It's really good. Really good. My kids love it. A little greasy. But anyway, can we get paid for that?
I hope so.
Okay. So it's Pizzagate, and it is very interesting. I like to see what else comes about. You know, let me ask you this. This is one conspiracy theory, because according to Pizzagate, Hillary was tied into this, and so was Bill.
Oh, yeah. Bill, I think, is a given.
Okay. Bill,
I mean, he's been tied to that sex island and multiple things.
Okay.
How many women have come forward to date?
How do you feel about Donald Trump coming out saying that he's not going to go after Hillary?
Based on, I would say, the developments of this past week and seeing some of his selections for his cabinet, I think it's very clear that
he's a rhino.
One of two things has happened. Either he's just flat out doesn't care and he's going back on what he said, or he's already being intimidated. Someone has gotten to him and said, like, look, this is the way it's going to be, or this is what's going to happen to you. Here's the nation's secrets. And
you think you can intimidate Donald Trump?
I think you can. I think you can intimidate anyone who steps foot in that office. Because the moment you do and you realize how messed up this country is, economically, socially, politically, I think you kind of have to play ball.
Okay, because that was disappointing when he said that. Because, I mean, not that we know there's some things with Hillary and Bill. We don't know all the facts.
I don't think we need
to.
But
just knowing the facts would be great.
It would be great, but I think the biggest issue I'm having here is obviously that this is implicating high-level politicians, very wealthy individuals, and the direct harming of children. And all too often, the American people do not know about these things until these individuals are dead and gone. It's just like with Michael Jackson. For years, there was a huge debate about, did he or didn't he? And then it comes out after he dies that the FBI had more than enough information to go after him. They even had information from the parents who admitted they would send their kids there to get payoffs.
Okay.
Very disturbing stuff.
Yep. So that's Kyle's conspiracy theory of the week. Okay. We have an announcement to make on PrepperBroadcasting.com. We have a new show on Tuesday nights. The host is going to be Richard, and the show name is Finding Freedom. I like that name, but Finding Freedom.
It's hard to find freedom. Usually whenever I get home from work, I find my freedom in the restroom for, 5, 10, 15 minutes if I'm lucky, and then someone starts banging on the door saying, I need in there. That's about all the freedom I'm allotted.
Dude, you're so wrong in so many ways. It's crazy. We're looking in the chat room. We're going to bring on Ross from Survival 401k. Again, this is a friend. I've known him for at least 2, maybe 3 years. Ross does some amazing things with a 401k and an IRA, and he's got some economic things he wants to share with us. So is Ross? Are you there? Unplug it. Ross, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Oh, Okay, great.
Thanks for having me
We're
on.
just trying to have got a little technical difficulty here. Can you hear? Can you hear me now? You there, Ross?
I can hear you perfectly
Okay.
clear. Can you hear me?
Perfect. Okay. We just had to plug some things in and
Smack
the computer a little bit.
There you go. Hit it with a hammer. It works every time.
So Ross, I met you, I guess through a friend of mine that was a client, and he's also a dear friend. We go to church together, and he discovered he found you. Then we met, and I've told many people about you. So if you don't mind, just kind of tell us about yourself and what your company does, and we're going to get into some of the details, because some of the people, we had a prepper meeting just the other night, and people were asking detailed questions about what you do, and I really couldn't answer them.
Hey, let's take a quick break.
Are you a prepper or homesteader looking to connect with like-minded people in your area? Looking to start your own preparedness group? Already have a group? Well, look no further than PrepperNet. PrepperNet is dedicated to personal responsibility, individual freedoms, and being self-reliant. PrepperNet has monthly meetings in over 100 cities where you can meet and learn with like-minded people in your area. PrepperNet, where preppers unite. Find us online at preppernet.com.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Forrest, and thanks, Tom, for having me on. What Survival 401k does is we help folks move their Wall Street assets out of their 401ks and IRAs into hard assets such as precious metals, farmland, rental properties, commercial properties, survival gear such as solar generators, guns, ammo, storable foods, gas generators, cabins, retreats, bug out places. Everything that's not a consumable or a collectible can be used as an investment in your 401k, and it's really revolutionary in the fact that you can exit what I would call the fiat system or the Wall Street system, where you will lay awake at night wondering whether your retirement's still going to be there when you wake up, and you can roll over and look at your safe and know that you have 5 ARs, 5,000 rounds of ammunition, and 200,000 ounces of silver, so be it, or a couple of thousand ounces of silver sitting in your safe near your bed or down in your basement, bolted to the foundation. So you can rest assured that your retirement is going to be there, and we help you be more self-sustaining, as well as even to simplify your life. So there's a lot of things we can do for you if you're really feeling like you're getting the nudge to get out of the Wall Street matrix, I call it, and into really well-known assets that have stood the test of time for 6,000 years.
Right, and so most individuals have an IRA or a 401k that is linked to an institution, let's say like Merrill Lynch or Wells Fargo, and the law allows you to own many more things than most institutions will let you. I mean, why would Wells Fargo allow you to own silver at your house when they can't make any money from it? Am I correct? They want to sell
absolutely.
their product. They want to sell their products.
Well, I mean, every financial advisor, and they're all good. They can be good people. They're trying to look out the best for you, but their hands are tied into a set of Wall Street asset classes that include equities and mutual funds and EFTs and puts and calls and all these different things, but they're all inside of Wall Street. And you can say to yourself, well, I have a very diversified portfolio. I'm in all these different industries. So if oil goes up, I'm going to make money. If oil goes down, I'm going to make money. Or I'm in miners, or I'm in this or that. But inside of it, you're still inside of Wall Street. So until you truly diversify your portfolio beyond Wall Street, you're still being held by the short hairs on it, because you're still inside that fiat system. So if you have a certain percentage of your money in Wall Street, and you have a percentage in metals that you physically hold, and you have storable foods, and you have weapons, and you have ammo, and you have a place to bug out to, and you have a place where you can grow food and animals, well, you have a very diversified portfolio. But if everything is all inside the walls of Wall Street, then you're not diversified whatsoever. You all are still in. They still have you inside the matrix, and that's where we help get out of that.
Right, and so you actually, even though the law allows you to own this, what Wells Fargo is not going to allow you to do any of this stuff. And so what you do is you help people, in a sense, manage their own 401k. And by managing your own 401k, you're very diverse. You're more diverse than letting another institute manage it for you.
Oh, absolutely. And whether it's Wells Fargo or Charles Schwab or Ameriprise or Fidelity or Vanguard or TD Ameritrade, just a litany of hundreds of these different groups, and your local Edward Jones or any of those other guys that are going to manage your money for you, they make money on you regardless of whether you make money in the Wall Street.
Right.
So if they charge you 2% fee, but you lose 6%, they still get paid, but you don't. So, and they give you the excuse, well, it goes up and down, and it's okay to lose money in your retirement. I disagree. I don't buy that premise that it's okay to lose money. That's a rubric that doesn't work for me. I just don't take that mindset, because if you control your own money, nobody's making money on your back, and you control your destiny. And Kyle was talking about freedom. I can get you more freedom outside of the bathroom, Kyle, by talking about a solo 401k, because I can give you more than 5 minutes of your time, right? So you can set yourself free in many ways, knowing that you can lay awake at night. Don't have to lay awake at night, except my customers do, because they're fantasizing what they're going to do with their money.
Right.
So they're not worried about whether the market's going to crash or Trump's going to do this. Or before the election, my phone rang off the hook because everybody thought Hillary was going to win. I told them to calm down. It doesn't meet the new boss, same as the old boss. So at the end of the day, you have to take control of your life and your money. You can't rely on other people and all the time and think that, well, they know what's better than me. You're not stupid. And we've been raised in this past century that you're too stupid to manage your own money. You don't know enough. You're ignorant. You need me to charge you 3 or 4% on your money to help you lose money. We're here to change that paradigm completely.
Well, I studied the market for about 8 years under a genius. And and next to me was a guy working at A.G. Edwards. And I asked him, I said, why are you here? And he goes, A.G. Edwards teaches me how to make the trade, the legal trade, and doesn't really teach him how to actually make someone money. And that kind of took me off guard. And the more people I met that was taking this, it was a lot. I mean, it cost a fortune to take these classes. But one of the things I learned is that a lot of these people don't know how to make money. I asked him about a covered call, which is a basic trade on how to make money. And he says, we were trained on how to do that, but we are not allowed to do that with our clients' money. And I was just taken back from that even some of the professionals that you go to, like the A.G. Edwards, all these professionals, a lot of them don't know how to make you money. They know how to sell you a product. Would you agree with that?
Oh, agreed. And they sell you a product, and most of the time they put you in a plain vanilla portfolio that may generate 2 or 3% a year.
Yep.
They won't lose you money, but generally they do lose you money if you count in the expenses. But at the end of the day, they put you in some plain vanilla stuff that's with the mutual funds or ETFs or mixture of equities, or they give you a targeted index fund, where they make the money is on the commission side. And now with the new rule that's going in April 10th of next year, with the new fiduciary rule, most of the time they're going to have to make decisions that are better for you, not for their commissions.
Correct.
And that may get overturned by Trump and his administration. We don't know yet. I've been reading stories all day about it today on both sides of the story. So we don't know what Trump's going to do until he gets in there. And so between now and January 20th, we really don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of supposition. But there's so many problems in this country that is he going to focus on something like that? Probably not. So at the end of the day, most folks just need to just carry on and just get on with their lives and do their day-to-day tasks, and also to set their money free at the end of the day.
Right.
But, I mean, there's a lot of economics coming up, there's a lot of things coming out that's actually showing there's going to be a recession coming in 2017, and I really think your listeners need to know that they need to get prepared for that, because it could impact them and they don't even know what's coming, because there's a lot of the mainstream media is not going to tell you the truth. I mean, there's just all of us out here in the fake news arena that are telling the truth. And so hopefully we can maybe discuss some of those points tonight, Forrest, on things that are coming that people may not even see, that I'd love to share with your audience.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking about coming on here tonight. I wanted to talk to you about is, I was reading a little bit earlier about on Zero Hedge, there is a vote coming up in Italy. And I guess it's another referendum, and potentially Italy's looking at leaving the EU. And the article is basically saying that if that were to happen, that's really going to be a nail in the coffin. On top of that, we have declining retail sales yet again.
Right.
Record low Baltic Dry Index. I mean, you could go on and on. So how severe would you say we are at this point that people need to be moving their assets into something physical like what you do?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a lot of things beyond, more data points beyond that, Kyle. You have auto delinquencies for like subprime autos, delinquencies, people rolling their balances into new loans, and you have auto loans that are at a high delinquency rate. You have 95 million people that are not in the workforce. It just came out yesterday on the new jobs report. They said we're at 4.6 unemployment rate, but you have 95 million people that are not in the workforce. What the hell are they doing every day? What are these people doing? That's 1/3 of our population practically is not working, and they're of age where they can work. You have, you mentioned that Black Friday sales were below what they thought they would be, and so that doesn't bode well for Christmas. You also have 62% of Americans have less than $1,000 in their savings account. The same amount couldn't even cover a $500 emergency without having to not pay other bills. The bond market lost $1.7 trillion last month in November because they squeezed the balloon of money, left treasuries, and left debt or debt bond market. It went into equities because they saw the candy on the hill, so they ran towards that. Mortgage rates are jumping because of the returns on bonds. So you're going to, once those mortgage rates are up, housing starts are lower, which cascades into construction and everything else that's tangential to that. So at the end of the day, you're seeing all these, the telltale signs of recession are there, but everybody's got this, what I would just call just ridiculous exuberance in the market. And we crossed over 19,000 for unnecessary reasons because there's nothing underlying to do that. The earnings are not there. So this irrational exuberance is become crazy. And so you have people making money, and in my personal opinion, they're drawing all this money out of the bond market into the equities, and then ultimately they're going to fleece them again once Trump becomes president on January 20th. So folks need to recognize that there's an old military. I was in the Navy for many years. There's an old strategy that you let people through your gates, and then you have them surround them once they go, and you close the gate behind them, and then you hose them down. So this is the kind of strategy that's being inflicted upon the American people, and your listeners need to recognize that they need to get prepared for both a recession as well as hardship and potential war and things of that nature, because all the problems we had before the election still exist. $20 trillion is still our debt and growing, and under Trump it could grow even farther. And I'm a supporter of Trump. I think his message is good, but he's going to spend a lot of money that we don't have. You have war footings with Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. That hasn't gone away either. In fact, the Russians are moving nukes closer to Europe. They're rattling their sabers over the Ukraine again. Crimea is getting more Russian troops. The Syrian problem is getting deeper. The Russians just destroyed the United States proxy ISIS in Syria over a gas pipeline is why people are dying over a gas, right? So all these things are coming to a head, but people have this irrational exuberance saying happy days are here again because they have a new president. Well, guys, you need to step back from all of that and think through what's really going on and wipe away all the sophistry and say, look, here's where we really are. And it's not very pretty for most folks.
Yeah, we went over that just this past week in our local meeting. I actually threw 10 scenarios and had the entire audience or the group judge if actually Trump has changed the meter on any of it. One of them was like, a solar flare. Has Trump being president changed the meter on the likelihood of that happening? Economic collapse. We went through everything, and the only, I guess, one or two moved a little bit. That was gun control, that people feel a little bit more relaxed on, and the other one was martial law.
Yeah.
I think that was the only two.
Right.
Just
and
slightly.
maybe nuclear war with the Russians. It might be maybe slowed a little bit, right?
Right.
Because they want to know if flights go in Syria.
Yeah, and I'm a believer. Kyle's a believer. Economic collapse is not. It is when it's going to happen. It's not if it's going to happen. And we've been we even had a show about that a couple weeks back. So let me ask you this. Someone's putting lipstick on a pig on our economy,
right.
And that must be the news outlets, the news medias,
the true fake news, right?
The true fake news,
right? TFN,
right? So, is there any key indicators or times or events that could be like a call sign or
like it's time to leave?
Yeah,
it's time to head to the hills.
Yes, I mean,
right. I mean, I think you see the move in the bond market is really one that should put everybody at pause. And I have several stories at USDailyReview.com that talk about a lot of things and show a lot of the data. You can just look me up on there. But at the end of the day, some things that you can look for: a sudden surge or downdraft in the market, because I think it's coming. I personally think between now and January 20th of this year, when Trump is inaugurated, something bad could really happen because they're going to try to torpedo this whole thing.
Yeah.
And right after if it doesn't happen before then, right after he's inaugurated, I think you're going to see some drastic sell-off in the market to the tune of maybe 10 to 20%. There's going to be some event that's going to drive that, and that will usher in the recession in the first quarter. And so once that happens, you have a series of layoffs and a series of just huge money losses, and suddenly he's in the hot seat. They're going to say, well, when you see you shouldn't have hired him or you shouldn't have elected him. And you may be surprised how he responds because he's not a dummy. And he's probably already thinking through what they're going to do to him because he's got a good intel on his side as well. So, but I think everyone needs to be prepared between now and January 20th for some event that could really be catastrophic. But more so after January 20th, they're going to bring all the stops out, and I think they're setting him up for a recession. And there's been a couple of stories on the Daily Reckoning and Jim Rickards and a few others that are talking Zero Hedge as well that things are set up because of every two-term president always has a recession right afterwards. So Donald Trump could be inheriting a recession, nothing that wasn't made by him, but he's going to have to clean it up. So you may look at Obama, it picked up on George Bush's. So everybody gets their turn of the barrel, so to speak. So people need to be prepared for recession coming, and I have a couple of strategies to help them with that, to get ready to be prepared for recession to protect themselves at a certain level.
I would definitely agree with that. I also have to say, I mean, I've been reading it, typically Zero Hedge, but it does look like there's definitely going to be a rate hike imminent, and I was hearing possibly as soon as this month. Is that kind of what you've been hearing as well?
Oh, absolutely, because they need to raise rates because the dollar's already strong. I mean, the dollar index was over 101 earlier in the week, which is torpedoing precious metals. Oil is gaining power again with the latest OPEC. Whether that stands for any length of time, that's another story because they're known to be cheaters in every one of those countries. So we'll see how long that stands and whether oil can stay above 50. And so that's going to raise gas prices, and if it goes up to 75, that's going to impact spending as well. So I think it's coming, and how do you prepare for it is the question. And I think there's some definite steps people can take, your listeners can take, to get ready for a recession that would put them ahead of their neighbor, so to speak.
Well, great. We're going to take a quick break, Ross. Please stay with us. We want to get into some more details, and I've got at least 5 questions that people in the chat room are wanting to ask. So let's take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
We have exciting news. You can now afford to have your own freeze dryer. That's right, for the first time ever, it's possible to have a freeze dryer in your home. It was invented right here in America by Harvest Right. With this new appliance, you can freeze dry your own food and it will last 25 years. Imagine freeze drying fruit, vegetables, meat, and your own homemade meals. It's as easy to use as a microwave. Learn more about this amazing home freeze dryer at harvestright.com. Again, that's harvestright.com.
Will the government protect your family from Iran and North Korea's newest weapon, EMP? We buy guns to protect ourselves, home, health, and car insurance for accidents. Maybe you also have food storage. But how would you keep your refrigerator running in a long-term EMP blackout? Using tested military designs, the Solarc EMP-hardened solar generator protects and powers your critical appliances for years without burying items underground or wrapping them in aluminum foil. Unlike other preps, Solarc is used every day to help offset your electric bill automatically. Visit PortableSolarLLC.com to learn how easily expandable the system is. Solarc is the most affordable and powerful solution on the market. The whole system even fits in the back of a pickup or SUV and can install in less than an hour. See for yourself why Solarc beats other off-grid systems at PortableSolarLLC.com. Don't wait for the government. Go to PortableSolarLLC.com to learn why Solarc is energy insurance for your family.
Prepper's Asylum is the premier preparedness outfitter. They carry in stock and ship direct the products you're looking for. MREs, freeze-dried food, Kelly kettles, water filtrates, first aid and trauma kits, stoves, personal protection, self-defense supplies, and more. Prepper's Asylum are people just like you and I. Find what you're looking for and use promo code PBN at checkout to receive 10% off. That's promo code PBN for 10% off at preppersasylum.com.
All right, we're back on the Prepping Academy. Please join our website, preppingacademy.com. We have a giveaway. It's at the bottom of the homepage. Just click down there to join. Tonight we have Ross Powell from Survival 401k, and we're talking about your finances and your future of your money that you've worked so hard for. So Ross, I'm very familiar with this because when my client, my friend, went to you and was talking about this, I gave him a thumbs up immediately because I knew what was going on. A few years back, I needed a few people wanted to invest in a project I was doing, and they had a ton of money in their 401k, and they looked at me saying, wish I could invest with my 401k money. And I went out and we researched and found out a way that they could do that, make private investments with their 401k money. And so I actually have what you do, your company, one of the items, one of the products your company does, I did that to bring investors into a project. And so I'm going to kind of sum it up, and then you can actually talk the professional talk on it. But to me, it was bringing the 401k where I fully controlled the 401k. I controlled the checking account, all the money. It's overlooked by like a trustee that someone makes sure I don't break any rules, and I get all the paperwork done. But it allowed me to invest in, gold and silver and own it, and guns and food. And it was a way to use my 401k that if the crap hits the fan, it's not digits that are just lost. It's things that I actually own. Was that a good?
Absolutely, Forrest. I mean, the solo 401k that we provide at Survival 401k is exactly that. You are the trustee, the plan administrator, and the fiduciary. So let's say that your listening audience is sitting on $150,000 in a 401k that's sitting maybe in an old employer, or they have an IRA, or even they have $300,000 in their current employer's plan. We can jailbreak that as well. But let's say you have an old employer's plan that's maybe have $50,000 or $60,000 in it, and you don't know what to do with it. You're afraid you're going to lose it. It's sitting in cash, and you don't know what else to do with it because you're afraid of the market. Well, we can take that $50,000, put it into one of our solo 401ks, and anything that's on the Prepper broadcast. I was listening to the spots on the radio, like all your listeners were, and everything that was advertised on that is available for your 401k to invest in. So whether it's a solar unit, storable foods, weapons, ammo, land, if you have a mag that's contemplating a bug out location of 20 acres, your share of that could be bought by your 401k. Or if you wanted to buy 20 acres somewhere and build a cabin on it. I personally have one of these myself. I eat my own soup. So I have one of these plans. I bought 22 acres out in the sticks in Texas north of me. I have a cabin on it. I have a barn on it. I have all the gear I need, weapons, storable food, everything. I could drive into that, God willing that I can drive there. Otherwise, I'm backpacking it. But when I get there, I'm going to have everything I need to sustain myself. So all of that is part of, or all assets of my 401k. And your listeners can do the same thing, and we do this day in and day out. I can show them how they can take that, and on top of it, they can defer, if they're self-employed, they can defer $53,000 a year of their income to reduce their taxes. They can borrow up to $50,000 against their balance. So if you need a new roof on your house, or you have medical bills or tuition, or you want to buy a new car at a very low interest rate, which is 3.25% these days with our plan. So you can do all of these things with this money, and you control it. Nobody's looking over your shoulder. The only reporting is required is if you're over $250,000, you have to send a simple 2-page form to the IRS every year. Okay. So it's a very simple process, and we can provide everything we give you everything you need to manage your plan. You get unlimited phone support. You get unlimited concierge support, which includes lawyers and accountants and metals dealers and weapons dealers and all these kind of things or food stores. All these things are available that we can provide that have been vetted, and we trust them. Right. But at the end of the day, you control it all, and it's all done through a business checking account at your local bank. So you take let's say you have $100,000 sitting in Fidelity from an old employer. Well, you can move that $100,000 into a business checking account at your local bank, and from there you have checkbook and debit card control over those monies. So, but if you want to be in Wall Street, if you have a tip and you want to be in some junior miners in metals, you can invest in that. Or if you want to be in some stock, or you want to keep some of your market stuff, you can do that. So you have Main Street and Wall Street all at your fingertips with our plan.
Okay, I got a few questions, and then we're going to give you a contact at the end so people can, because it seems like a lot of people have questions. What if you're still employed and you have a 401k?
There's a way to do it. There's inside their ERISA law that's been around since the 70s. We found a little piece of legislation that was inserted in an amendment to the ERISA law, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, and it benefited the people in the 1%, the Bloombergs, the Rockefellers, the Bushes, the Clintons, all those folks, the 1%ers, and our lawyers found a way to make it affordable to everyday people. So if you're interested if you work for a company and you have over $100,000 in 401k and you're under 59 and a half, you need to reach out to us, because we can what's called jailbreak your 401k. And you can go to survival401k.com/jailbreak, put in your information, and we can reach out to you and tell you how to do it. But essentially, you use the laws. You have to hire an attorney, go through a process that takes about 4 months and around $4,000 or $5,000 to get it done. So that's why we set the threshold over 100, because if you have 20, it's not worth spending 25% of your money to get at it. Right. But it takes about $5,000 to get it done, which includes a survival 401k, and we can get at that money for you. Again, it takes time, but we've been 100% successful reaching out to this and getting your money out of there.
And that's if you're currently in a 401k. Now, if you have an old 401k, it's much easier than that.
Oh, correct? Yeah, that's simple. We can do that all day long. Yeah, that's simple. That's simple.
And what about an IRA?
Oh, that's the same thing. I mean, that's a simple rollover into a solo 401k, and you can use your IRA to invest in all the things we talked about tonight already.
What's the time frame on that?
That's about a 3 to 5 day setup time. So it takes us about 3 days to put your paperwork together, 1 day to get your bank account open, and about 5 days to get your money from your current custodian. So from about 10 business days end to end, you can go from having an IRA that's sitting in cash and doing nothing to a solo 401k that's actually investing in things that you really need and want.
Okay, what if you're self-employed?
That's the best part. That's one of the key things. If you're self-employed, that's one of the key things. That's your company will sponsor it. The only caveat is the solo 401k is not made for people with employees. So if you're a mom and pop shop or you're a sole proprietor, it's just you, then we can definitely help you. And I would recommend everybody that's listening to me tonight, they should start their own business, because part of the Trump's tax plan, they're looking at lowering the corporate tax rate to 15%, and that could be, based on what I've read so far, that 50% could pass through to somebody even with a sole proprietorship, LLC, C corporations for sure. So you could definitely lower your tax rate by having your own company. And I recommend everybody get their own small business, simply because of the way the world is, and with a recession coming, you need to have another income stream already set up. But with entrepreneurs, that's especially easy. And we actually have everybody that calls me, always set them up with a small business with their solo 401k, so that they can actually have another income stream as well as reduce their taxes.
Okay. Another question. I'm sorry. Another question from the chat room is, let's say that you were to buy gold and it went up 200%. Could you sell gold at that time?
Absolutely. But just have to go back into your solo 401k account, but it would be tax deferred. So let's say you buy $50,000 in silver, and now suddenly it's worth $150,000. Well, you just made $100,000 tax deferred. If you sell it to somebody, then you would take that money and stick it back into your account and invest in something else that you'd want to do, maybe land or food or whatever. But it would be tax deferred gain. So you don't get taxed on it until you actually take the money out and stick it in your pocket.
Right. Another question is there a limited time frame to roll it over if someone has like a 401k? Is there a time frame they have to roll it over?
Well, yeah, there's a 60-day. Generally, if you take it as an indirect rollover, meaning that they send you a check, normally you have 60 days to roll it over into something else. The IRS is, as of in October, they made some new rules where you can actually roll it over if there's like 10 automatic rollover or forgiveness, I guess, clauses, and as effective August 24th or something like that. So any money you roll over after August 24th, there's like 10 automatic approvals, and it's usually you're sick or you had a hurricane, earthquake, death in the family, sick child, loss of job, or whatever. So there are 10 things that are automatically approved, but generally you have 60 days to do an indirect rollover. If you do a direct transfer, it's going to be immediate. So it doesn't really, there is no timeline.
Okay. And another one, if you don't mind, another question from the chat room.
Sure.
One gentleman says he has $75,000 in his current company 401k. Is it worth it for him, or is it just not worth it?
Well, I mean, you can do the math. I mean, around between $4,500 and $5,000, depending on the state you're in and the legal costs. You can do the 5,000 divided by 75. You can decide whether that percentage is worth it to you. I mean, you're not quite at 10%, but you're at what? Close to 7%, 6%. I don't have a calculator in front of me. So is it worth it to you? I mean, at 100,000, you're at 5%. So at 75, you're probably at 7%. I wouldn't go anything above 10 to get my money out. I mean, that's a big fee to pay to get your money out. Now, I mean, I've had people at 50 wanting to do it, and they're just hell bent on getting it done. And we'll help you, but I would ask them not to do it, because that's just a lot of money to spend to get that money out. So again, that's a personal decision, and whoever that is, give me a call, and I can talk to them, talk them through all of the process and the timeline, and their overall cost to them.
Okay.
And why I want to do it.
Okay. Another question, gentleman. He doesn't have a company. Can you help him start a company and start everything he needs to do by having his own company? Can you help him with that?
Absolutely. I help him brainstorm what his skills are, what his passions are. And like I said, everybody needs to have their own business, whether it's a sole proprietorship or an LLC or a C Corp. They need to have their own business. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, you need to start a business. Think about what you're good at, what your passions are. And whoever that gentleman is or lady is, I can definitely walk them through and help them brainstorm and creatively come up with a company idea for them. And then if they want to roll their money over, they can do that as well.
Okay.
So I don't. And part of our included in our plan is an EIN and a tax ID or a tax ID for their new business. So that's a big piece of it. With most companies charge you $50 to $100 to do that. We do that for free.
Got you. Okay. And I know you have other programs than just the IRA and the solo 401k. What's some other services that you can provide? Now, I'm going to tell people right now, this guy I trust. I've camped out with him. We've been to prepper camp. He's one of my good friends. He's helped them. You can trust this guy. He's going to look out for you. He's a fellow prepper, and there's not a ton of money to be made in this. I mean, you have to really kind of love what you're doing to do this. So, but what's some other services that you do provide?
Well, we have a buying service for metals. We can make sure that you're getting the best price. We can turn you on to folks like yourself. We have a concierge service that helps you, find the product that you're looking for. So we have a whole stable of folks that we can send you to that will help you get to where you want to go. Because if I don't know, I know somebody who does, and so that's part of our service as well. Gotcha.
And another question. Go ahead.
But our primary product is a solo 401k. All the other things are peripherals, and I'll talk you through. And I do pastoral counseling with folks as well. I mean, if they have issues and they're trying to get through things, I can talk them through some hard spots as well if they need that. But primarily, we do the solo 401k.
And again, I just want these our listeners to know that even though you can't afford some of the items you want to afford, if you do this program, it may cost you a little bit of money. It gives you access to grow your retreat, grow your prepping supplies with money you already have, and it's not taxable. And there is a fee to set it up, and it takes 10 days or so. But imagine if you got $20,000 in a 401k or IRA, and it's just sitting there, and the market, if you believe like Ross, like Kyle and I believe, the market's going to crash. It's going to go down. If you could take that money, put it into food, guns, gold, and silver, why wouldn't you do that? That to me just makes a lot of sense.
Agreed, Forrest. And I've done that myself. I mean, I mentioned I eat my own soup. I've done this. I took my own retirements from Hartford and from Chase and others, and I've been in banking and a vice president of large banks for over 30 years. I managed credit portfolios. I've been in banking for a long time, and I left all of that to start this business because I believe in what we need to do. So I left a very lucrative job at Chase as a vice president to start this business almost 3 years ago now. And I'm just amazed how well it's done and how many people we've touched and how many people we've set free and got them out of the matrix. I mean, it's a retirement revolution, and we try to get people to join the revolution and take control of their lives and not be told what to do and not be told they're stupid. To actually take control of themselves.
What's the minimum amount of money someone should have in their 401k to think about this?
If it's a legacy one, meaning that it's not in your current employer, we normally lower. We stop at $12,000, simply because at that point you're almost at 10%. The cost of the plan is almost 10% of the money. So generally, if you have 20, anything over 12, but if you're at 15, 20, 25, 30, anything over that, you're golden. I mean, I have customers from 12 to 3 million that have moved money with us. Mm-hmm. So it just depends on what your sense of urgency is and whether you really want to do this thing. If you really want to be free, you need to give us a call.
Gotcha. Okay, and if you could give us all your contact information and how people can get a hold of you. I know people in the chat room have already posted your website, but if you could just tell our listeners.
Oh, sure. It's you can reach us at survival401k.com and click on the Contact Us. There's a little pop-up button that comes up, and you can actually either contact us or set up an appointment. You can call us directly at 844-650-5733. Again, that's 844-650-5733. You can email us, call us. We'll respond to you within 24 hours, depending on the. Generally, it's about 24 hours because we get inundated every day. Phones ring off the hook, so give us a chance to get back to you. The best way is to go to the website survivalfire1k.com, click on the Contact Us, put in your name and phone number and what you're calling about and what your situation is, and we'll be glad to set up an appointment. Everybody gets a free 30-minute consultation with me to hear your story, find out what your goals and aspirations are, and then I'll tell you whether I can help you and how quickly we can get you there. So I promise I'll talk to every one of your listeners that calls personally.
And also, even though one of the listeners said they only had $3,000 in their 401k right now, which is understandable, you would still, even if someone has a full-time job, they need to open up a business. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Get a sole proprietorship and go to your courthouse, spend $16 to get your DBA, your doing business as. You can be John Doe doing business as Window Cleaners Inc. or whatever you want to call it, and just make a few extra bucks on the side. You're amazed how many tax breaks there are for people with sole proprietorships. You can write off so many different things and reduce your tax liability is also by creating a new income stream. So if your job disappears in 2017, you have a way to eat every day. And that's the bottom line. You get to that basic need of food, water, and shelter, and that may come in 2017. We don't know, but we always should be prepared for that. And that's that little job and some little passion that you have or skill you have. You always wanted to build these little widgets out of your garage. I mean, I have customers that have one of our plans that rolled over several $100,000 for illustration, and they make birdhouses out of the garage and sell them on eBay because he's always wanted to do that. This gave him the ability to do that. So, you can make rubber dog crap and sell on the internet if you want to and make money. But at the end of the day, whatever your passion is and whatever you really been wanting to do all of your life, your bucket list, do that as a business and make some money at it. But do what you really want to do, and that will actually set your mind free and get you out of that 5 minutes at the bathroom, Kyle, again, one more time.
Yeah. It's actually really funny because, I've often thought about doing rubber T-Rex poop.
Oh, my gosh.
No.
Oh, my word. Okay.
Rubber T-Rex, okay. She got me on that one. That's right.
Yeah. Well, Ross, it has been awesome to talk to you again. I appreciate your time. Everyone, you need to go to survival401k.com. He has information. I think there's some videos on there, photo of you and your wife. Again, if you went to Prepper Camp, you were there. You had a booth there. You spoke there. Right. So you're trusted by likes of Prepper Jane and everyone that was there. Just we had a good time there, and
right.
This is real. This is real stuff. This is stuff you need to do. You need to look into. And one of the things you said, I mean, if you have a hobby, make it a business, and then you can create a 401k where you can actually start, or an IRA where you can start using some of your own savings tax free, and purchase some of your prepping supplies. So, hey, Ross, thanks a lot. We've got a minute left here, and we appreciate your time, and I am sure people are going to be calling you.
Sounds great. And several of your people on this network that we're advertising actually are customers of mine. The Portable Solar folks have opened their own solar 401k with us, and they're going to do a great job with it. So, again, you can actually a lot of the vendors that you hear on this network you can use to invest in with your 401k. So it's
awesome.
Great stuff.
Well, thanks a lot, Ross. We appreciate you coming on. Again, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. Everyone go to Survival 401k. His name's Ross Powell, a trusted friend of mine. Hey guys, you can listen to our archive shows at preppingacademy.com. Kyle, do you know what your conspiracy theory next week's going to be?
I'm probably going to be talking about North Dakota, what's going on up there with the pipeline.
Is there a conspiracy theory with that?
Yeah, the mainstream media is not covering it.
Oh, okay.
Right now there's supposedly 2,000 vets that are heading up there to basically be a human shield for those folks. So why isn't the media covering it?
Oh, gosh, okay. Something new.
Yeah.
Again, go over to Prepping Academy. We're having a giveaway join in on just sign up to be a part of that. And we're live every Friday night, 9 p.m. We got a chat room, so hop over to our website, homepage, very bottom. We got a feedback and comment section. Any last words?
Last word? God, why do you keep threatening to shoot me? I don't talk, and you threaten me.
Last words, Kyle, before we shoot you?
No, I'm good. I'm good. We're going to have a good weekend.
Yeah. You guys have a good week. Get in touch with Ross, and we'll chat with you next week.
Today's broadcast has come to you through the courtesy of the Prepper Broadcasting Network. See our hosts, show schedules, archived programs, and more at prepperbroadcasting.com. Thanks for listening.
When you don't go to Geico.com, car insurance can be hard. Like early 90s heavy metal hard.
I'm yelling and screaming and I'm loud. Roar!
Geico makes it easy. You can review and update your policy or report a claim on Geico.com or the Geico mobile app. Because shouldn't we all have a little less stress in our lives?
I'm not even upset about anything!
Support for this podcast comes from UTSA's Graduate School, featuring a world-class faculty, mentoring programs, and a professional development center to contribute to your future success. The University of Texas at San Antonio. Visit utsa.edu/graduate to learn more or apply.
Has your data been hacked? Do you feel uneasy about the vulnerability of your personal information online? Were you involved in the Target, LinkedIn, or Microsoft data leaks? Don't know? If not, then pay attention. Join Forrest Garvin from PrepperNet for a free webinar on privacy and security. Gain insights into safe internet browsing, VPNs, crafting online aliases, secure emails, detecting if your data has been hacked, and managing passwords. Secure your spot today for this webinar on privacy and security. It's free. This webinar delves into comprehensive strategies for bolstering your online privacy. We've got you covered, from fortifying your passwords to shielding your financial information and mastering state-of-the-art encryption techniques. We're offering 2 convenient dates to suit your schedule. Reserve your spot now at preppernet.com/privacy. Don't let cyber threats erode your peace of mind any longer. Take the first step toward a safer, more secure online experience by joining us for our free webinar. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to safeguarding your privacy. Sign up now at preppernet.com/privacy. We'll see you there.